The first thing I notice is the silence. It's not normal silence, the kind you find in an empty room or a quiet street at night. This is heavier, loaded with something wrong. The phones on the ground buzz one after another, lighting up like fireflies trapped under glass. The words flash across their screens, sharp and cold: asterisk, emergency alert, hostile entities confirmed. Avoid all contact. Proceed to safe zones immediately. Asterisk. I don't see anyone around to pick them up. Just the glow fading in and out as if even the devices are giving up hope. My eyes follow the light upward, past broken windows and dark buildings, until they land on it, a crater so big it looks like the earth split open and never healed. A green haze floats above it, thick enough to make your skin crawl just looking at it. Then comes the sound. Not screams yet, but something smaller, sharper. Like nails scraping metal. And then I see them. Tiny legs skittering over rubble, moving too fast for comfort. They multiply right before my eyes, splitting off into dozens more. Whatever this is, it's spreading. Now cut to me, Lena. I'm pushing a mop across tile floors in some high-rise office building downtown. Nobody stays late anymore except people like me, people who can't afford to say no when the boss asks for overtime. Max has left me 3 voicemails already tonight. His voice cracks when he says, "Mom, when are you coming home?" He sounds scared. Or maybe lonely. Either way, it makes my chest tighten. I delete the messages without answering. What am I supposed to tell him? That his mom spends her nights scrubbing floors while everyone else sleeps? My phone buzzes next. Same alert as the others outside. I glance at it, then toss it onto the cart. Another drill, probably. They always send those warnings now: storms, power outages, gas leaks, but nothing ever happens. So I keep mopping. The steady rhythm helps block out the noise creeping in from outside. At first, it's faint. Distant shouts, car alarms wailing. Then louder. Metallic screeches that shouldn't belong anywhere near a city street. Something's wrong. Really wrong. But I shake it off. Can't stop working. Not now. Not here. Eventually, I step out onto the rooftop. Fresh air, I tell myself. That's all I need. The door slams shut behind me, and I freeze. Cars overturned, fires burning unchecked. People running every which way, screaming. One man trips and falls. He doesn't get back up. Instead, his body jerks violently, limbs twisting unnaturally. Then it splits open. Dozens of small shapes pour out, wriggling, crawling away from what used to be human. I grip the railing hard, my knuckles white. This isn't a drill. This is real. Back inside, I grab what I can from the break room. A crowbar tucked behind the janitor's closet door. Bottles of water stacked neatly in the fridge. Duct tape because, well, duct tape fixes everything, right? I stuff it all into a bag, hands shaking the whole time. My phone rings again. Max's name flashing on the screen. But there's no signal. Just dead air. I try anyway, pressing the phone to my ear like it might suddenly work. Nothing. No dial tone, no ring. Just silence. I shove it into my pocket and head for the stairs. Greg's waiting near the elevators. His face is pale, sweaty. He clutches a flashlight like it's the only thing keeping him alive. "We should stay," he says, voice trembling. "It's safer here." Safer? I almost laugh. Does he think walls will stop whatever's out there? I argue with him, trying to explain that staying means dying. But he won't listen. He shakes his head, backing away from me. Fine. If he wants to stay, that's his choice. I turn and start down the stairs. 2 flights later, I hear it, a scream so loud it echoes through the stairwell. Greg. I stop, squeezing my eyes shut. Guilt hits me hard, but I force myself to keep moving. There's no time to go back. Outside, the air feels different. Thicker. Wrong. I barely make it 10 steps before something swoops down from above, claws slicing through the space where my head was just moments ago. I duck under a parked car, heart hammering against my ribs. Across the street, 2 figures collapse. Their bodies spasm once, twice, then tear apart. More creatures spill out, tiny and wriggling, growing bigger by the second. Watching them spread sends chills through me. These things aren't slowing down. They're taking over. I spot a convenience store up ahead. Lights still on inside. Maybe someone's there. Maybe help. Doesn't matter. It's better than standing here waiting to die. I sprint for the door, slamming it shut behind me and dragging shelves in front of it. Outside, shadows move closer. Claws scrape against glass. For now, I'm safe. But for how long? The convenience store is dimly lit, the hum of the emergency lights overhead doing little to calm my nerves. I'm crouched behind the counter when I hear movement. My hand tightens around the crowbar, knuckles white. Then a voice cuts through the silence. Don't move. It's firm but steady. A man steps into view, holding a handgun. He looks tired, like he hasn't slept in days. His name is Marcus. Behind him, 2 others emerge, a woman cradling a teenage girl and a wiry guy clutching a backpack like it holds all the answers. Who are you? Marcus asks, his eyes scanning me for signs of infection. Lena, I say quickly. Just trying to stay alive. He nods toward the barricaded door. You see what's out there? I saw enough to know we can't stay here forever. The girl moans softly, breaking the tension. The woman, Priya, she introduces herself, presses a blood-soaked cloth against the girl's neck. Riley, she says her name is. Riley was stung by one of the creatures. Her skin is pale, clammy, and already showing faint veins spreading outward from the wound. We need to get her to a hospital, Priya pleads, desperation creeping into her voice. There might be something there, an antidote, anything. Marcus shakes his head. She doesn't have long. You know what happens after they sting you. I step forward, ignoring the way Marcus stiffens at my approach. If there's even a chance, we take it. We don't leave her behind. Priya looks at me with relief in her eyes. Thank you. The 4th member of their group clears his throat. Ethan. He adjusts his glasses nervously, glancing toward the windows. I've been tracking this for weeks, he says. Those meteors that hit last month? They weren't natural. This invasion, it's exactly what I warned about. Marcus rolls his eyes. Great. A conspiracy nut. But Ethan isn't wrong. The timing lines up too perfectly. Whatever these things are, they didn't evolve here. They came from somewhere else. We don't have time to argue, I interrupt. If there's a lab nearby, we go now. Every second counts. Marcus hesitates, then lowers his gun slightly. Fine. But if she turns, I'm ending it myself. No, I snap. That's not how this works. Not while I'm leading. For a moment, no one speaks. Then Marcus gives a curt nod. Whether he likes it or not, I've just taken charge. We move as quietly as possible, sticking to the shadows between buildings. The streets are worse than I imagined, cars overturned, fires burning unchecked, bodies lying where they fell. Some twitch violently before splitting open, releasing more of those writhing shapes. Each step feels heavier than the last. Ethan talks non-stop, spilling everything he knows. Or thinks he knows. They implant eggs, he explains, keeping his voice low. Hosts act normal at first, but once the eggs hatch, he trails off, pointing to a figure stumbling ahead of us. Its chest bursts open, scattering small parasites onto the pavement. "How do you know so much?" Marcus demands, glaring at him. "I told you, I've been watching this. Those meteor impacts? They were carrying them. Dropping them like bombs." Marcus mutters something under his breath, but he doesn't argue. For all his skepticism, Ethan's information checks out. Riley stumbles, nearly collapsing. Priya catches her, murmuring reassurances. "Almost there," she whispers, though none of us believe her. Ahead, the hospital looms like a ghost. Most of its windows are shattered, and smoke curls from the upper floors. Still, it's our best shot. We push forward, avoiding the worst of the chaos outside. That's when Riley drops. She hits the ground hard, convulsing. The veins on her neck pulse visibly beneath her skin. Marcus raises his gun, aiming at her head. "No!" Priya screams, throwing herself over Riley. I shove Marcus back, grabbing the crowbar. "Not like this," I growl. Kneeling beside Riley, I place the crowbar gently against her temple. Her wide, frightened eyes meet mine. "I'm sorry," I whisper, and swing. The crack echoes louder than it should. For a moment, everyone freezes. Then Marcus exhales sharply, holstering his weapon. Priya sobs quietly, clutching Riley's lifeless body. Ethan stares at the ground, his face unreadable. "She wasn't going to make it anyway," Marcus says finally. "You did what had to be done." "Maybe. But it doesn't feel right." "Not yet." We press on, leaving Riley behind. The weight of her death hangs over us, heavier than the danger waiting outside. By the time we reach the hospital, I've earned their trust, or at least their reluctant obedience. Leadership comes with a price, and tonight, I paid part of it. The hospital looms ahead, its shattered windows staring back like hollow eyes. The air feels heavier here, thick with ash and the stench of decay. Every step we take echoes too loudly against the cracked pavement. My legs ache, my lungs burn, but I can't stop now, not when we're this close. Inside, the hallway is a maze of overturned gurneys and broken glass. The lab should be on the second floor, but getting there won't be easy. We move silently, sticking to the shadows, listening for any sign of movement. That's when we hear it, the chittering. It starts faintly, almost drowned out by the distant sounds of destruction outside, but it grows louder. Closer. "Move faster," Marcus hisses, gripping his handgun tighter. He's down to his last few rounds, and none of us have forgotten what happens when those things catch up. We reach the lab door, or what's left of it. The room inside is a mess, desks overturned, equipment smashed, but there, on a shelf near the back, are vials marked antidote. Hope surges through me for the first time all night. Maybe this can still work. Maybe we can save someone. But then they come. A swarm of creatures floods into the room, their armored bodies clicking across the floor as they scuttle toward us. There's no time to think, only react. Marcus fires first, aiming for heads and exposed stomachs. Ethan grabs the vials, stuffing them into his backpack while I swing the crowbar wildly, trying to keep the creatures at bay. Priya stands her ground, using her body to shield Ethan. She holds a scalpel in one hand, slashing wildly at anything that gets too close. "Go," she shouts, her voice sharp and commanding. "I'll hold them off." "No." I yell, but she pushes me away, forcing me to stumble backward. Her face is calm, even as the creatures surround her. One lunges, and she drives the scalpel deep into its head, green acid spraying onto her arm. She doesn't flinch. "Tell my daughter," her words trail off as she turns to face the horde, pulling a lighter from her pocket. With a flick, flames erupt around her, illuminating the chaos. "I love her." I want to scream, to run back for her, but Marcus grabs my arm and yanks me forward. She bought us time. Move. We sprint down the hall, the heat from the fire licking at our backs. Behind us, Priya's screams fade into silence. My chest tightens, but there's no time to mourn. Not yet. The exit is just ahead when Marcus grunts, stumbling mid-step. I turn to see 3 claw marks across his side, leaking blood and something else. Something green. He shakes his head before I can say anything. Keep going. I'll hold them off. No, I start, but he cuts me off, shoving his gun into my hands. Finish what we started, he says, his voice firm despite the pain. Then he steps back, firing blindly into the darkness as more shapes emerge from the smoke. I hesitate, tears blurring my vision, but Ethan pulls me forward. We don't look back. Every step feels heavier than the last. Exhaustion weighs on me like a physical force, dragging me down, but I push through. The metro station isn't far now. Just a little farther. Ethan limps beside me, clutching his side. His breathing is ragged, uneven. When I glance over, I notice the wound on his leg, a jagged tear oozing green fluid. He sees me looking and forces a weak smile. I'm not making it, he says simply, his voice flat. Not unless you count being one of them as making it. We're almost there, I argue, though I know it's pointless. Even if we reach the safe zone, they won't let him in. Not like this. He stops suddenly, grabbing my arm to steady himself. Listen to me. Find Lisa. My wife. Tell her I'm sorry. For everything. And that I forgive her. I nod, swallowing hard. I will. He presses the backpack containing the antidotes into my hands. Good luck, he says, then turns and walks away, disappearing into the shadows. Moments later, I hear gunfire erupt behind me. Ethan's drawing them off, giving me one last chance. Alone now, I press on, every muscle screaming in protest. The metro station comes into view, a glowing dome surrounded by steel walls and armed guards. It looks like salvation, but I know better. Salvation always comes at a cost. At the gate, guards shout orders, weapons trained on me. Are you infected? Show us your neck. I pull back my collar, exposing unbroken skin. No bites, no stings. They motion me forward, but I pause, turning back to where Ethan disappeared. Somewhere out there, he's fighting his final battle. Then I step inside, the heavy metal door slamming shut behind me. The sound reverberates through the space, echoing like a gunshot. Around me, survivors huddle together, their faces pale and drawn. Some cry quietly, others stare blankly into the distance. I scan the crowd, searching for familiar faces. Max, Emma. Anyone who might still be waiting for me. But right now, all I can think about is Ethan's message and the weight of the promise I made. Outside, the creatures continue to gather, slamming against the barrier with relentless fury. Inside, we wait. For now, we're safe. But the scars of tonight will stay with us forever. The moment I step through the airlock door, I hear his voice. Mom. Max runs toward me, tears streaming down his face. His small arms wrap around me so tightly it hurts, but I don't pull away. I can't. Instead, I hold him like he might disappear if I let go. My hands tremble as I press them against his back, feeling the rise and fall of his breathing. He's alive. He's safe. I'm here, I whisper into his hair, my voice cracking. I'm not leaving again. Behind him, Emma stands with Sarah, both wrapped in emergency blankets. Their faces are pale but alive, their eyes wide with disbelief. For a second, no one moves. Then Emma steps forward, pulling us all into the tightest embrace we've ever shared. Her body shakes with sobs, and I realize I'm crying too. We cling to each other like survivors washed up on a shore after a storm. The room buzzes with activity, people huddled together, soldiers scanning for injuries, medics rushing past with supplies. But none of that matters right now. All that matters is this: we made it. Somehow, despite everything, we're still standing. Later, when the initial wave of relief fades, I find myself staring at the glowing dome above us. Outside, the creatures slam against it relentlessly, their chittering muffled but constant. Every impact sends a shiver down my spine. They're out there, still fighting, still trying to break through. But they won't. Not anymore. Military helicopters roar overhead, dropping clouds of chemicals that spread across the city. The officers explained earlier, biological agents designed to neutralize the parasites, destroy their eggs, wipe them out completely. 3 days, they said. 3 days locked inside this shelter, and then maybe, just maybe, it'll be over. Max falls asleep in my lap, his head resting against my chest. His breathing is steady now, peaceful. Watching him, I feel something shift inside me, a spark of hope breaking through the weight of everything we've lost. Marcus, Priya, Ethan, even Greg and Riley. Their faces flash in my mind, each one a reminder of what it cost to get here. But also a reminder of why we kept going. As the first rays of sunlight pierce through the haze outside, I lean my head back against the wall and close my eyes. The sound of Max's heartbeat steadies me, grounding me in this new reality. Survival isn't about forgetting what you've lost, it's about carrying it with you, letting it shape who you become. We thought the worst thing that could happen was losing everything. But sometimes, survival means finding hope in what remains.